And so I'm joined now by Daniel Levy. He has negotiated with the Palestinians for Israel and is currently president of the US Middle East Project. Daniel, welcome to the show. Let me pick up really for what we were hearing from Jeremy there about this Hamas strike, this Israeli strike on the Hamas leader's family there. IDF has confirmed that in the last 40 minutes or so. How much do you think this is part of a pressure campaign for Hamas to accept any sort of deal, any sort of negotiation that the IDF, that Israel's put forward?
If it is, then it suggests that the Israeli leadership's reading of the situation is even more faulty than we have assumed, to be honest, so far. There has been such indiscriminate bombing. We know that 14,000, if not more, children have been killed, 4 times more than are killed in conflicts around the world on any given year, according to Save the Children. So, was this a deliberate targeting? If we go with the assumption that it was, I think the only way one can read this is that it's more intending to undermine any talks than to advance those talks. The idea that this will lead to some kind of capitulation on the part, it's for the birds.
I mean, the thing that made me, what stood out to me when the news broke was, if you're Hamas and you have aid coming in, you have some IDF soldiers now leaving from the south, why would they go in, accept any of these negotiations, given, of course, they may have the upper hand at this very moment? Or am I reading it wrong?
Well, I think there has been a quite consistent position on their part. And this is what's missing. Yes, this is about people returning to the north. It's about getting Palestinian prisoners out of Israeli jails, which is a priority for them in exchange for the Israelis that they are holding. It's about an IDF withdrawal. But, and this is still the crucial missing link in those negotiations, for Hamas, they see this as an on-ramp to a permanent ceasefire. If on the Israeli side, the position is that this is a pause before unleashing hell on Rafah, where so many 1.4 million Palestinians, we think, are kettled, having been sent from unsafe zone to unsafe zone, then there's not going to be a deal. And I think what we haven't seen is a serious American effort to make this an on-ramp to a ceasefire. And so the talks are still not in a place where one's going to have a way out.
Do you think they will have any sort of ceasefire, any sort of pause before this operation into Rafah that Netanyahu's promising that no one will stop it from happening? How do you see it playing out?
Well, here, I think, first of all, it is important to acknowledge that this isn't necessarily going well for Israel. Whether on the battlefield, sure, you've destroyed Gaza. Hamas is in some way been downgraded, but Hamas is stronger in most respects. Israel's reputation internationally, legally, morally, in so many other respects. When Israeli analysts were looking at that, 6 months, the 6-month ledger, how it's going, it was surprising the extent to which there was an acknowledgement this hasn't gone well. Netanyahu is okay with this taking longer. He has not been in a position militarily.
Why? Because he wants to stay, is playing the long game?
Yes. Okay. But for the Israeli Prime Minister, the morning after is when he faces the music on what happened on October 7th. Who's responsible? Are you responsible? Will you step down? The military heads are likely to step down. So for Rafah to take longer is okay with him. He seems intent on carrying out this mission. And I think unless and until there is a willingness on, especially the American side, not just to express frustration. Biden is frustrated. They've exchanged harsh words. Are you going to put on the table the leverage that you have? Primarily at this stage, that's the conveyor belt of weapons, including these 2,000-pound bombs. And what are those for? Those are what's killing so many people. If that's on the table, then conceivably there will be a debate inside Israel. Because there is a fault line. Primarily, it's around what priority should be accorded to getting back the hostages. We've heard now that there's likely to be even less alive. If you want to get them back, do you say, well, if it's not 40, then the other 35, whatever that number is, can die? So there's a real fault line in Israel on the hostages, including inside the military, including inside the war cabinet. A serious proposal, plus American leverage. And by the way, other countries should also stop the weapons flow. That will influence America,
UK as well?
Absolutely. I find it shocking that that legal recommendation has not yet been made public in the UK. Then I think Netanyahu is perhaps in a corner. It looks to me like the US administration is trying to do just enough to say domestically, hey, there's some distance between us and the Israelis, but not enough to actually bring an end to what the International Court of Justice is considering, has a case there over a plausible breach of the Genocide Convention.
So let me ask you this, because we've heard, and I'm sure if you heard the interview with President Biden with Univision in the last 24 hours, where he talked about frustration, sharper criticism of Netanyahu, saying handling the war had been a mistake. So definitely, that criticism has definitely become more pronounced. But like you're saying, we haven't seen a policy change from the United States. If the IDF goes in, if and when it goes into Rafah, and the United States sees no plan, so far they haven't received any plan, as we heard from Secretary Blinken yesterday, how should the US react to that? Should it be pulling, do you think it will stop any sort of, any weapons? How should the US change its policy vis-à-vis the Rafah incursion?
So first of all, at this stage, for someone to say, well, the Israelis have reassured us, Rafah will be done clinically, there won't be these huge civilian casualties.
And no one's saying that.
No one's saying that.
Yeah.
No one would sound credible, unfortunately, at this stage, if they tried to say that. I fear that the Americans will have more hand-wringing. Well, we tried to tell them not to do this. We thought they would do it differently.
This is an election year, though, Daniel. How?
Well, the president is apparently, from what we can tell, from what we hear, not convinced that this matters to him electorally. He apparently still thinks he has something to lose on the other side of that equation.
On that, very briefly, because we are running out of time, Thomas Friedman, writing in New York Times, wrote this. He talked about the Netanyahu strategy in Gaza, calling utterly insane. He wrote, I think we have a little graphic to show, Netanyahu has locked Israel into politically unwinnable war and has ended up isolating America, imperiling our regional and global interests, compromising Israel's supporting US, and fracturing the base of President Biden's Democratic Party. The damage that Netanyahu has done in the last 6 months of this war, and perhaps the lack of action from the United States and others. Do you agree with that?
I don't accept that Netanyahu has done this damage at all. President Biden, the US administration have done the damage.
Explain.
Well, they are the ones who chose, especially off the back of preaching to the world, standing on their moral soapbox and telling us rule of law, international law, look what's going on in Ukraine.
Double standards.
Well, here it is. When it's your ally, you can bomb the hell out of a place, civilians, indiscriminate, what the Court of Justice says doesn't matter, it's meritless. This damage, and it's very significant damage, is self-inflicted.
Daniel, I wish we could speak. I could speak to you for the rest of the show, but unfortunately I'm being told to wrap. Daniel, it would be great to have you on the show. Thank you.